Hi, everyone. Welcome to Curated by Becta's Meal Kit number 61 for the week of July 14th to 17th. Little slightly compressed weeks during the summertime. We're going to be offering delivery and pickup from Wednesday through Saturday now. And then I think by the fall, we'll get back into Sundays while people are at the cottage. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for ordering this week. We've got a delicious and super easy to prepare meal for you tonight. So why don't I go ahead and get started? We've got one of my favorite things, which is a duck magret. Now this is Rougy Farms from Quebec. We've already done the hard work and done the sous vide for you. So we've already cooked it to rare, and then we're just going to render out the fat tonight and make it delicious. So first thing, just put it on a little paper towel, both sides. I've already patted the top, and a good amount of salt and pepper. And when I put it in the pan, we are going to salt and pepper the other side. Now, the pan for the duck, you want to get to medium heat, where the pan for the veg, it's smoking a little bit already. I preheated it maybe a little bit too much. You want to get to high heat, but wait a little bit because the duck needs to render and cook first. And so we're going to do 1 tablespoon of oil per person, canola oil, or my favorite, grapeseed oil, for those who have followed along. And we're also, actually, you know what? Did Chef Rich say that? No, he didn't. So actually, I'm just going to give that pan, not quite hot enough yet. I'm going to pour that oil right in there. You see the bloopers and everything. Just a little bit of oil left in the pan because the duck has lots of fat on its own. So you really don't need to oil it. Just a tiny little, like half a teaspoon for 2 portions. And then I'm putting the 2 tablespoons of oil in the pan for the veg. And I'm also putting the cauliflower puree in a little pot. And we're going to give it a stir occasionally. Make sure it doesn't burn on the bottom. Okay, so while the pan is warming up, the appetizer tonight could not be easier. We have this beautiful Roma tomato gazpacho, and literally just pour it in your 2 bowls. Make sure to even it out. Our first tomatoes, local tomatoes of the year. And then the Kalamata olives are going to go in next as a nice briny garnish. Just spread those around. And finally, we have the garlic rosemary focaccia croutons. Some of them are a little bigger than others. We can spread it out. And I know what you're thinking. The duck pan is getting hot. Make sure to put your duck in, which I'm going to do right now. So fat side down, very important. And I'm going to turn it down to medium heat. Because when we do the duck breasts, I'm always thinking that it's cooking from raw, but it is not. We've already cooked it mostly. So make sure you do not overcook the duck. Hey, Google, set a timer for 5 minutes. I put it in a minute ago. And that is when we're going to turn it over. So garlic croutons on here, and something that I highly recommend, I forgot to pull it out ahead of time. If you've got a nice olive oil at home, I'm going to just drizzle around to give it a nice look and a little bit of fat to the gazpacho, which adds a gorgeous texture to it. Get that out of the way. I know I'm going to need that for flipping the duck over. Oh yeah, so now the duck is in there. I can season the backside with salt and pepper. So we're going to season the duck on both sides at the beginning, and then again on the top at the end after we slice it. And make sure to have a baking sheet. I love a baking sheet with a cookie tray on top to rest your duck. Give this a little stir. I'm going to talk about the wines. With the Gazpacho, we have, it's a fun play on words. It's a domaine de Grand Guet Poule de Pic. Pic Poule is the name of the grape, and it's grown in the Languedoc region. And so they're just having a fun play on words. They have a little picture of de Poule in there. But honestly, it's delicious. It's rich and vibrant, but lots of fresh acidity. The way that Connor, our wine director, talks about it. The sea-scented breeze imbues the wine with salinity, resulting in a fresh floral and citrusy wine with aromas of lemon zest and tangerine. And I got all of that. And Picpoul is usually a very lean and mean grape, but this has some richness to it, and I love it. And it's going to go great with our gazpacho, by the way, Roma tomato gazpacho, with the Kalamata olives and the garlic rosemary focaccia croutons, which smelled heavenly in the kitchen today. Let's move that aside. Get ready for our main course. And while the main course is working, I'm going to start the veg after the duck is away and resting, because it only takes about 4 minutes. So tonight, I'll make sure I get it right. We have a coconut cake with a basil frosting and some candied lemon. So literally all you're going to do is put this on the plate, and then take the candied lemon, put it on top. If you want, maybe put a little around the plate for a gorgeous garnish. So, very exciting week this week. Our restaurants are opening indoors again because we are down to one case in Ottawa on average per day, which is crazy. Isn't that wonderful? My family and I have been going outside to do clapping for the frontline healthcare workers and frontline workers, to be fair, for the last 16 months since the pandemic started, to give them support. And tonight is our last night for that, because really there's no cases around anymore. Okay, we've got a little smokiness. Maybe my pan was a little hotter. So we're going to turn that off. And 45 seconds just to sear the outside, the other side, and I'm going to turn it up to high heat. Hey Google, off, cancel the alarm. Hopefully that works. Just 45 seconds and then we'll rest. And because the pan is already preheated, I'm just going to flip the two and away we go. I will need to get a trivet, otherwise my induction stove is going to complain to me. Let's put that back there. We can get rid of this. And that is our gorgeous coconut cake with basil frosting and the candied lemon. I'm trying a different zoom tonight on the camera. I hope you guys like it. Okay. So that's my 45 seconds. Yeah, it's got a nice sear on the backside. Hey Google, off. Okay, so let's move this off the stove. This guy goes on, and then make sure I don't burn myself by putting that away. Maybe I'll put the hood fan on just a little bit so I don't set off the fire alarm. And then we're on high. Let's make sure the cauliflower puree is warming up nicely. We've got almost a bit of an Asian feel to the duck dish tonight because we've got this Radish Kimchi, which I'm super excited about. But let's talk about the red wine, which is an illegal mourvedre. I'm a big fan of this. So France has a lot of rules, and maybe way too many rules. for red wine. And because this appellation doesn't allow Mourvèdre at 100% to be grown, they're calling it an illegal Mourvèdre, and that's why it's a vin de pays instead of the appellation that it's actually grown in. By the way, this is why I do the meal kits a day in advance, and I tell the chefs, hey, we need to do a little more of this, a little less of this, a little whatever. They forgot to grill my scallions tonight, so I'm putting them in the pan to cook them as long, but when you cook your scallions, they will be grilled. So literally it's just 30 seconds at the end in order to warm them up. But I'm gonna put them in there for a couple seconds longer than the mushrooms. And as soon as they wilt a little bit, I'm gonna throw the mushrooms in, beautiful oyster mushrooms, and that's a 4-minute ordeal. It's really not an ordeal. Tonight's meal is super easy. Get rid of all these other things. So yeah, indoor dining this week. Super excited. A lot of you are wondering, hey, is Curated going to keep going on while indoor dining is happening? Yes, because you guys have been amazing. The support has been incredible. Like, we're still selling tons of meal kits every week, even though that there's a lot of people going to cottages and dining outdoors and hosting friends. What a great way to host, having a Curated by Becton meal party at your house, or having it on multiple houses if you're still not comfortable meeting in person, or maybe some of your friends aren't double vaccinated yet. So just keep that in mind. That it's an excellent thing to do. We've got our wine club going on, which happens the last Tuesday of the month, which is fun. And if you haven't signed up for it, you should check it out. But for those of you who are interested in the restaurant business, you may have seen this a little later in the week, but the Globe and Mail is publishing my first op-ed this Friday, the 16th, which is the day that we reopen. And it talks all about the trials and tribulations of restaurants, but it is really a siren call for our amazing hospitality workers to come back and work with us again. Because the industry has shed so many jobs. People have had uncertainty, layoffs, all kinds of different things, but more than anything is that feeling of belonging and purpose and accomplishment has been removed because the government said that their jobs are non-essential, and we all had to separate. Well, thankfully our case counts are down and we can get together in person again, and that is why it's time to come back to work. Practice your craft, practice your art, because people who love the restaurant industry are incredible at what they do. Okay, so the mushrooms and the scallions are there. We're going to add 1 tablespoon of butter per person, and we're going to season with salt and pepper. Give it a little stir. Looking very good. So what I'm going to do is just turn this off and let it keep cooking for another minute while we start plating, put the duck down. So the good news is we've already done this duck sous vide, as I mentioned. So there shouldn't be much in the way of juices that come out when we cut it. Even though maybe I didn't wait the full 5 minutes, which you really should do. So you want to cut the lengthwise. Let me get rid of the fan. So the long way, and the easiest way to do it is the fat side down. And then we're going to flip it over and season it. And actually, I don't know what I'm doing with the tongs. I always use my hands on this. Yeah, that's a beautiful medium rare. And it's so tender. Like, usually duck cooked from scratch without the sous vide or the immersion circulator is quite firm. This is my favorite little nugget on the end. Make sure I got the right way. Yep. So cut as many slices as you can, as thin as you can. Hopefully you have a nice razor sharp knife. And you can get 9 or 10 nice slices out of each duck breast. and maybe save the last little bit for the chef who's putting it together. Okay. Turn, whoops, that guy off. So cauliflower puree. Divide it equally. I'm going to do it on one half of the plate. I hope Curated by Becton never goes away. I love these meal kits. And actually, I love connecting with you guys. I love the emails that you send afterwards. I love to hear about your experiences. So please keep them coming. And as long as you're ordering, we're going to keep cooking. So take this spoon, drag it through, and that gives it a wonderful presentation. The chef swoosh, as I like to call it. Fantastic. Well seasoned. You don't need to season it at all. So let's see. Plate the mushrooms and scallions on top. So I've already seasoned these guys. Make sure I get the proper balance between the two plates, which is just so funny because my wife always comes along and then separates it into 3 plates because we've got our son. So hopefully you guys feel like you have enough food because there's a lot of food. It feeds the 3 of us and sometimes there's leftovers. Okay, now this is key. So you take the duck and you flip it over so that the beautiful fat side is up. And then take some crunchy salt. If you've got fleur de sel or something like that. Give it a good season on top. I forgot to season the little experimental piece. I don't do this in the restaurant, by the way. Just at home when I'm cooking for my family. There we go. And then we've got the Radish Kimchi. A beautiful color. This is a sexy dish. Put that there. Make sure to bring this up to room temperature because cold kimchi never tastes good. I'm going to take a little bit of the dressing. Just bring it along. Beautiful. I don't know which one to show you. They're both pretty beautiful. There we go. So our lovely sous vide Rougy Farm duck magret with the grilled scallions in your case, oyster mushrooms, cauliflower puree, and our radish kimchi. I hope you enjoy. Thanks for ordering. Thanks for being a part of this week. Thanks for all the amazing support. We hope to see you in person soon. We hope to see you name on the order sheet so we can send you more delicious food at home for as long as you'll have us. Have a great week and hope to see you soon.